everyone. We are in the new year and getting out of all of the Christmas cards and finding our way back to birthday cards and thank you cards. And this month we are concentrating on birthday. I know my stash has gotten a little low, so let's start building up those stashes of birthday cards. Again, it is so easy to just, throw together some floral cards for birthdays, but sometimes we do need them for those that don't love florals. And this adorable set by Brass and Bliss is the perfect set to make the cutest birthday cards. This is the Raccoons, the Party Raccoons, I believe is what it's called. I've made several Christmas cards from this, and honestly, every time I give one, everybody's like, oh my God, they're adorable. So we're going to keep on doing it. And I've showed a few cards where you don't have to color. And this one, we are doing a smidgen of coloring, but lots of stamping too, and using our stamps more than once in a card. So what I'm doing here now is using our new scalloped nesting die. Love this. The minute I seen it, I said, yes, absolutely. It's a little mini scalloped. I absolutely love this. So we are taking craft paper and we are going to do that one. So I did the scallop edge on the white, and then I did go back, as you've seen there, and cut the craft, but I did just cut off I just wanted a small edge of that white showing through. So instead of finding like another die that matched up, I just cut it again out of the scallop and then chopped off the little scalloped edges so that we would have that. You're going to see I don't even pull out a Misty for this. So if you don't have a Misty, no worries. You don't need one on this. This is a pretty carefree stamped image. You just need to make sure that you ink your stamps very well. And then, just leave them down there on the paper for a half a second. This is sped up ×2, so though it looks like I'm just stamping it down, I am really making sure that my stamp is really connecting with that paper for a couple of seconds before I lift it up, so that I know that I don't have to ink it twice, because that's what a lot of people are scared of. But again, remember, we are just making a background out of this stamp, and so if you don't hit it exactly, it's not the end of the world. It is just a background stamp. You'll also see that I'm twisting the stamp upside down, over, to the side, all that kind of stuff to fit that. And then your main thing you want to do is definitely let your stamp go off the edge. That really makes it look like it is pattern paper, pretty much. And then fill in all of your little gaps like I'm about to here. There you go. And honestly, this is pretty quick. This card, I think it took me a total of 30 minutes with coloring to put together. I think that's what my footage was 33 minutes, I believe. 31 minutes and 35 seconds is what it was for the whole card. So pretty impressive. And probably most of that was the coloring. So we're going to use our Barely Arts glue here to put that down on there. This is my favorite glue. It has the needle nose. I don't use any other glue. And every year at Black Friday, I stock up on more. I stock up on the big jar of it, and that usually gets me through the year. All right, now we're going to put our little panel down. Look at how cute that is. So our scalloped edge is just peeking through. You can also do this on with a little bit lighter ink too, if you don't want that pattern paper to be so kind of in your face, or you want it to fade back a little bit more. Just use a little bit lighter of an ink and that will work. We're going to pull out our smooth hammer mill cardstock and stamp this image. Again, just using my block. I never pulled out my Misty. I'm pretty proud of myself actually on that. I did get a little nervous when we stamped the sentiment later, but I never did pull out my Misty. All right, I am going to use my Ohuhu alcohol markers. You can use whatever alcohol markers that you have, or even watercoloring markers or watercoloring pencils, whatever you have to do your coloring. But at this point, we are using our CG Roman numeral 209. I don't know what they like to call this one. Such a long name. Thank gosh they did change their names a little bit. I need to get new caps. For my darkest, and though we know that raccoons are black, we definitely don't want to lose the details in the eyes of your little characters here. So I do end up going pretty light. We drop down to the CG 207 after this, and then we're going to drop down. Ooh, I don't remember. I think I dropped down to like, do I use the 4? I can't remember if I use the 4. I guess we're going to see here in a minute. We do every other one of the tail. And then his little feet. I tell you, these little guys are just so cute. And they're really easy to color, honestly. Black and white, a little scarf or whatever they have. And honestly, you're done coloring. So I feel like, first of all, they go with just about any like color combination. Yes, I do drop down to the CG04, which is a huge drop. So you're going to see me do a little tip to tip action there. The 04 is extremely light. So you always pretty much have to do tip to tip on this one if you go from 7 to 4. But it is a great light color so that you can still see those black eyes in there, those black little dots in there. So, but yeah, this little guy, because it's so neutral, honestly, it goes with all patterns, all colors, all colorways, and that is the one reason I do love these guys. I've done one again where it's like a rainbow color. I will link all of those down below, and probably up here probably down below. And then on my channel, I will link it up in the little eye up there. Look at that. So we did just use that 04, I believe. 04 and then CG 020 to blend it out as your shadows for your white. I did want to keep this a little bit more on the male side of things. So even though it could be completely used for a girl card, but in case I do need a male card here soon, I did keep it with the blues. So that it will pretty much go for either one pretty much. And I honestly use like these teals. I'm loving these like BG teals, and unfortunately, there we go, BG5. I think it's BG6, BG5, and I'm just using 2. There's not that many. It's not that big to pretty much do anything else. All right, let's color the balloons. I will preference and let you know that I still stink at coloring balloons. I don't know why. I can't get it down. I've tried all of the tutorials. I do my best. We are still going to stick to those blues. I do go a little bit more teal on one, like his little scarf. And then I also go a little bit less, like lighter blue. I think I start with this color for the next one. And that's a good way to transition. This one is G326. And that's honestly a great way to keep your colorway the same. Is, use a darker combination for one thing and then start the next thing with that very light color and work down from there. And so they match, but they're also, you're not using a million markers too, and you don't have to make all those crazy decisions. I swear I will get better at showing you guys the caps. I'm so sorry about that. I thought I was better than that. We are going to cut these out with the Party Raccoon dies. Love when we have the dies. Again, these will be linked below. Yours will look different than mine. I, most of the time, get the samples since I am on the creative team. So a lot of the times your product will look a little different than mine. But we did cut those with the dies. And then we are searching right now for a piece of vellum paper that is going to go over right there. We're just going to tear that with our hands. We're going to tear both sides. Pretty darn easy. This is honestly a pretty standard card template. This is one that I go to several times over and over again. Honestly, just because it's easy and it allows me to use my images from my stamps. I mean, I usually have so many stamps in my bins and everything, and I use them once and put them away. And so I'm constantly trying to find great templates first for for those quick cards. Oh, I'm gonna stop right here. This is what I did go wrong here. I should not have cut this off. I should have kept those and secured the vellum around the card. I did forget that. Because then afterwards I was like, oh, how am I going to secure the vellum on the one side? I could secure it on the side with the raccoon pretty easily because I could just glue it behind the raccoon. But the side where the raccoon was not, I could not secure it. So if you are replicating this card, cut your vellum a little bit longer and fold around the card and connect your vellum behind the card, so you don't have to worry about where you glue it down to. Anyways, so I'm always looking for more ways to use the stamps that I already have, instead of just using them once on a card and throwing it to the side, because these things are expensive, and I want to get a lot of uses out of all my cards. So there you go. You see me there. I'm like, okay, I can bring, get the vellum down and it's fine. But this side, like, it was going to be sticking up and not very secure. And I was like, crud, I could have went back and recut another piece of vellum. I should have probably done that too, but yeah. All right, here I go. I'm going to do a sentiment without a Misty. I am using Stays On ink. This is a solvent ink. This is what I do use on like acetate, vellum, anything that's kind of slippery. Even if a paper has like a little bit of a slippery surface, I will use this also. It's more of a permanent ink. That solvent ink it's a good thing to have around for acetate and like vellum like this. Use it a lot in scrapbooking, actually. All right, so that is pretty much the end. Here is where I'm like kind of like fishing around, being like, oh my gosh, how am I going to adhere this down? I do pull out some little sequence embellishments here, and I was like, this is perfect, this is good. I will put one like literally right on the edge of the paper right there. You see that? And the glue will be good enough to glue down that vellum. And then I put one at the top, but I put the vellum, a little drip of glue behind where I'm going to put it so that it does glue that vellum down. And that is how I conquer gluing vellum down. Thanks guys so much. Again, everything will be linked below if you are interested. Pick you up some of these Party Raccoons. They're so adorable. Even if you just get the stamps, they are so cute. And like I said, I've made a lot of birthday cards out of this one. Talk to you soon. Bye.